You are listening to the Bug School Podcast, powered by Back School of Tech. It's not about code, it's about clarity.
So this episode is all Q&A. So there's some set of questions that have been asked by most of my students. I'm going to answer all of those questions, but not all of them exactly. But I was able to select some key important questions that I feel like every listeners need to be aware of. Okay, let's get started. So the first question is, when you first got into tech, what made you start? Okay, so what I usually say when people ask me this kind of question is, well, I've been a computer prodigy all along, but even aside from that, I didn't really go into it because I love it. Yes, I love it, but I didn't really go into it because I love it that much. I didn't go into tech because of the money. I went into tech because of the flexibility. Because I realized I'm an overachiever and I tend to have a lot of ideas. I tend to want to try something new. And tech seems to be like the only way at that time to be able to do multiple things, even though I didn't really venture into extra activities aside from staying in tech, but I was able to, spread my wings across different aspects of tech, be it design, be it coding, every areas I was there. Like I was literally there. There is no software, there's no tool that I can undo. So I went into tech because of the flexibility, and freelancing made it very easy to stay flexible. Even after going into becoming an agency or some sort, it was still very, very, very easy because whenever there is no project to do, there's always something I have to do. There is an idea I need to put out there. There's a small little thing I need to quickly do. So I always have something to do. And one of the things that make me feel whole is being able to do things to feed my soul. Being able to do things that excite me. And of course, you still have to do things that bring in the money because it's important. But tech made it easy for me to do all of those things, to work for the money. And whenever I don't feel like working for the money, I tend to do things that I love, build things that I love, design things that I love. And I'm a daydreamer, so I tend to daydream about beautiful things, creativity. And whenever I daydream about some things and I tend to like it, I do my best to bring it into reality. And that takes a lot of time. So I basically went into tech because of the flexibility. So yeah, the next question, do you remember a specific moment where you felt completely lost or out of place? Well, there's been a lot of cases like this. While reading this question, the first one I remembered was during my final year project. That was even my ND final year project. That was in 2017. I was still learning backend. I was learning PHP at the time, so I wasn't really so good at it. So it was so stressful, and I had about four other final project that I was doing alongside my own project. So it was really, really, really crazy. It was challenging, and everything was I was just lost. But that was the first thing. That was the first idea that I had. That was the first thought I had. But the one I feel like that really, really affected me, that was completely lost, was when I decided to switch from being a freelancer to a tech founder. And it was really, really difficult. That was my very first time trying to build a team. I've always been a solo agency, solo studio, solo doing my thing my way kind of a person. So trying to build a team, so it was very difficult. Of course, I knew I could read books or go to YouTube, but there is nothing so great as you facing it yourself. Even those books and YouTube and courses serve as a guide, but then you still make mistake. And it was one of the challenging period. I failed woefully. I'm not going to deny that. I failed woefully. But lucky enough, I was able to shut it down and then take some time off. And I started picking it one step at a time, till I'm not there yet, but I think it's starting to get better. Then another time that I felt completely lost was when I was struggling to find an identity for myself. Like all through my entire tech career, I've gone into different technical skills and I really didn't know where I belong. Like to a wider audience, I tell them I'm a software engineer, but within my tech circle, it's difficult to pick an identity because product design, I'm there, front end, I'm there, DevOps, I'm there, even graphics design, I'm there, but video editing, I'm not there, cybersecurity, I'm not, networking, data engineering, I'm not there, but all other places, I add skills in all those areas. So it was very, very difficult for me to find, identify my own identity. So I was lost. I think it took over 6 to 8 months before I was able to eventually find where I belong. I think those were the 3 moments that I feel like I would never forget. Those were like the 3 challenging moments that I had to question myself. The first one, I questioned if I really wanted to be a back-end engineer, but I'm glad that I'm stepping out of being a back-end engineer now. Then the second one was asking myself if I really want to be a founder or I would just want to remain a freelancer and an indie hacker. And then the third one is trying to find my tech identity. But now I do. I'm a product architect, I'm a tech educator, and I'm a technical product designer. Yeah. Okay, so moving on. The third question, do you have anyone guiding you or were you learning everything alone at first? Well, at first, I was learning everything on my own. But I had an uncle who was more of like a guide. And one of the things I appreciate about him, we still work together. One of the things I appreciate about him was that he didn't really teach me tech. He taught me how to learn. And that is like the greatest lessons anyone has ever given me. He didn't really teach me tech. He's a tech expert. He had all the materials. Like there is no tech material, there's no tech course, video, PDF, anything that you're looking for that he doesn't have. So he could have taught me, but he didn't teach me tech. He taught me how to learn. And because of that, I was able to learn every technical skill that I lay my hands on. A case where it would take someone months to learn a new skill, it take me days, a maximum of weeks. I mean, when I started for the first time, it took a month. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then WordPress, Joomla, and the likes at the time, just 1 month. And by the time I started moving, I think graphic design was the only thing that I feel like it just happened. Like I just picked the software and that's it. But all other things, they just come in freely. Like it was just easy. Why? Because I learned how to learn. And that is like a really, really interesting thing. But in one of my episodes, I'm going to talk about how to learn. So yeah, that's it. So question 4. What did confidence look like to you back then? Well, I wouldn't say it's not a big deal for me. Because like I said, everything was just all about flexibility. And even when I was in school, I was still working. I was, on Fiverr, and I was still working. But then in school, it felt like I was the only tech guy. I was the only tech guy. Then I think that would have been the angle of the confidence, but I really didn't care because I faced a lot of challenges, especially coding. I faced a lot of challenges trying to build things. It works today, then tomorrow it won't work. I think those are the very key areas of confidence. I've never really spoken in tech communities and all of that, and I didn't really have a fancy setups at the time. No, but all that I was concerned about was just the flexibility. So sometimes I might not feel like doing anything tech related, and I just want to write, like I'm talking right now. So yeah, the next question: can you recall a time you wanted to ask for help but didn't? Huh. This is quite interesting. Well, okay, so it's coding related. I couldn't fix it, and I was going to ask a friend, but I didn't ask him eventually. And what stopped me was, if I go to him, he might not be able to solve the problem for me. And why? Because I've gone to him several times, and what he tells me is, Google it now. And I felt pain. I felt embarrassed. Of course, I knew how to Google. I know where to go to. I've done every research. I've done every findings before coming to you. So I came to you if by adventure you've experienced something similar. But the thing is, he has always come to me whenever he hits a roadblock, whenever he's trying to solve a problem and he couldn't. He has always come to me, and I always have a solution to his problems. And that is because for me, when there's a problem, I like challenges. For me, when there's a problem, I try to look for a solution. That is why I believe I'm a great product architect, because I would always look for a way out. Even long before ChatGPT came out, I always look for, even if it's going to take me weeks to find the answers, I always look for a way out. So yeah, I think that would have been a good example of what happened then. Okay, the next question: what kind of self-talk did you usually have in those moments? Were you hard on yourself or just quiet and unsure? Well, I wasn't hard on myself, and I was sure of where I'm going, and I wasn't quiet either. I cried a lot, especially when it's supposed to work and it's not working. I cried. You know that moment when you're trying to watch a YouTube video and all of a sudden you were doing exactly what the guy was doing, and all of a sudden it wasn't working as it should, but it was working in the YouTube video. I think my two reactions then is I cry a lot, and sometimes I smash my laptop keyboard. My laptop usually had issues because of the whole smashing. Like I get so pissed and I just smashed it. But I got better. So I got better. I think it was my mom who gave me a tip then. So what she said was, if it's not working, just pray. And a prayer has actually really helped me. It has really, really helped me. It has really helped me. So what I do is I pray, and then I drop the laptop, shut it down, do something else, whether see a movie or just take a walk, just clear my mind of it. But then by the time I come back to it, I come back with a different energy, and voila, I just fixed it. Yeah, so that is about 6 different questions. I'm going to stop this episode here, then we'll pick another 6 in the next episode. So thank you for listening, and if you have specific questions that you'd like to ask, you can send me an email or just drop in the comments. I'll be happy to respond.